What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I am your hostess, doing the mostest, Kivanshi, and we are here with Brilliant Minds, Season 2, Episode 7, titled The One That Got Away. And listen, NBC, let's just fight. Let's just fight because I've had it up to here. I've had it up to here with y'all. And this specifically is a message for Teddy Sears. Babes, come in, babes. Come in. Listen to me and listen to me clear. The next time you're in my comments with the crying, laughing emoji, we're going to fight. We're going to fight. I can't believe that this episode did what it did, knowing that I've been trying to put it out to the universe on the things that I need. Oh, baby, you got what I need. But you say he just a friend. Oh my God. Let's just get into it, y'all. Let's just get into it. Okay, so we have episode 7. Okay, we are moving along in Brilliant Minds. And honestly, this was a really good episode. It was really fun for me. And I would just like to say, like, finishing up this episode, I was trying to understand, like, what did this season feel like for me? Because y'all already know it's a completely different feel, completely different tone from season 1. At the end of this episode, I was like, I feel like I'm reading a book instead of watching just like a regular medical drama. And what ended up clicking for me is that for some reason, this season has more serialized storylines, especially when it comes to the cases versus episodic. So in season 1, there was a lot of like, okay, there's this case and then like this storyline, and then there's this case and this storyline. Maybe 2 episodes back to back had a couple of storylines, but then like that was it. We would move on. But in this season, from the beginning of the season, even until now, there's all of these different nuggets and these different layers that make you feel like you're going from chapter to chapter rather than from book to book. And I will say, like, this episode really just kind of like painted that picture for me where I was just like, this is the difference for me. Because when I got to the end of this episode, the way I wanted to throw something across the room as if I was reading a book, and I just, uh, super and hyper emotionally invested, but it's a good time. So why are we invested? Well, let's get into the writers, okay? So my iPad is away. We got my Predator, my Alien versus Predator notebook. Love it so much. But let's get into it. So the writer of this episode, we have 2 writers, Davia Carter and Ariana Jackson. The director is Madchen Amick, and the cinematographer is Stanley Fernandez Jr. Y'all already know, like, Stanley is a staple in the show. So, the A storyline is the case. And this is a very interesting case because this is the case of the eggs. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, they could have just hit up Maya and got some rights for the title of this episode to be that, because that's exactly what it is. And you have Tom, who's a blast from the past, the first boy that Oliver got caught kissing by his mama during the foreign exchange student program. So he is a professor. He's teaching out in the Bronx when he ends up having some musical hallucination um, episode, and he seeks out Oliver specifically, right? And then the B storyline is we're back with Penny, with Dr. Pierce, Dr. Kinney, still dealing with the Sam of it all. And then we have all these tiny little nuggets that just really made it very fun, where we see more of Van, we see more of Katie and Dana. And so it's like all these other things that just kind of like keep the set alive and keep the activity moving surrounding these 2 episodes. So it was definitely very, very fun for me. But let's get into the recap segment of it all called As Seen on TV. So, okay. We're starting off this episode, right? We already told you about the case and everything, and Tom goes to the hospital. So we're at the hospital, and Wolf is just doing his thing, minding his business, stealing some medical supplies because that's what we do now. And Josh catches him, and they have a little banter, and they're kind of going back and forth. And Team Jolliver here, I'm like, okay, we're flirting. We're getting into, some good territory here. We're a little comfortable now. And who clocks it? Nico. And he absolutely goes on to call the hospital Gay's Anatomy. And so now he's highly invested in whatever they got going on. And Wolf is trying to sit up here and act like it's nothing, but that man can't tell a lie for nobody's business. And so now Givenchy feel like I have an ally in all of this because Nico is messy, but he's messy in the best way. And we're going throughout this episode, and when he finds out that Tom is Oliver's ex momentation shit, he's like, "Oh, babes, you have to get your new ex to be jealous of your old ex so you can get one of them back. Like, we need to do something, okay? Both of them are fine. They're hot. You're hot, okay? And obviously, you got something that's pulling these men. So, hello, paging Dr. Wolf. Let's go tap into that animalistic nature. I know it's in you. Roar. So that's Nico's whole business this entire episode. Now, we're going to slide to the left a little bit on these relationships, and we're going to plop into the Katie and the Dana of it all. So, y'all know Katie and Dana, they have been dating, but now Katie is like, babe, I think we need to move our lesbian relationship to the next level. And lesbians, y'all know what I mean. Beep, beep. But you know what? Not that far. Okay. We're not going super U-Haul-y, but Katie wants to introduce Dana to her friends. And what better way to do this than by a game of kickball? It's nice, like competition, it's some banter. You really get to see people kind of in their element. A good chunk of like your primal self shows whenever you're playing sports, right? So it's cool, it's low threat, you know, and that's what Katie's thinking. But Dana is like, bitch, this is the Hunger Games. So she's trying to figure out who can go with her. So she goes to Ericka, and her and Ericka back cool. But Erica's like, listen, I'm over here trying to figure out what's going on with Sam. Boo, babes, you got this. But Van's like, shit, I beat some bitches up. And Dana's like, oh my God, thank you. Don't call them bitches though. Like, relax. So he's already getting into competition mode. So they end up going, and Van is the only dude out there on this softball team. Nothing but gals and gays, right? And Dana is wildly insecure. And we've been seeing a lot of her different insecurities come up. We've been seeing a lot of ways in which her lifestyle and Katie's lifestyle clash. And we know that the source of Dana's worries hinges on the loss of her sister. But like I've been saying the previous 6 episodes, people need to start like getting some help. You can't be an effective doctor if you're not also seeking a doctor yourself. And Dana's really getting into territory this episode where I'm starting to look at the compatibility of these two people in this relationship. So Dana's out on the field. It's supposed to be fun, but she goes and asks Van, she's like, hey, you think she slept with some of them? And Van was like, oh, girl, no, hell no. She slept with all of them. So I'm like, okay, Van, sir. And this is one of those things where you really don't know if Van is joking because he has mirror touch, but he's also locked in. He in the zone. He is ready to win. Okay. And Katie already didn't put Dana on her team. So there's like all these other things. But it's like, okay, is Van just saying this because he's like, just out here just kind of egging Dana on or even just teasing her a little bit? Or in the middle of all of the adrenaline in his competitiveness, does he feel like lust or residual feelings coming off of some of these players? You really don't know because the way that he says it's really just kind of like teetering on that line of like, are you fucking with me or are you playing? It don't matter because Dana's just like, you know what? Fuck these bitches. You right. They bitches. And so she's not really good at sports. It's just kind of never been her thing. But, she's looking at the people on the outfield and she's like, wait, I'm not in high school no more. I'm a grown ass woman, babes. I got this. So the picture, she's winding it up. And Dana's looking at Katie like, I can't even believe you didn't even put me on your team. Like, what do you mean, girl? Like, okay, big. So the pitcher winds it up, and Dana's like, that's mine. Nothing. And she kicks it, and she socks the pitcher right in the face. At this point, Dana is so excited that she actually even made contact with the ball that she's running around the bases. She done went all the way around. She's like, yeah, bitch, that's what I'm talking about. Old girl was laying on the ground with a bloody and very broken nose. And she's like, my bad, girl. You want me to get you some ice for that? So all of this transpires and again, conversations are happening. And like I love that Dana and Katie, more specifically Katie, really likes to get to the bottom of things and just kind of address the elephant in the room. And I love that she doesn't fear conversation. Whereas to Dana, it appears as confrontation. So I kind of like that dynamic because this is an opportunity for Katie to show Dana that every every dynamic doesn't have to be a battle within our relationship. We could just talk about it. But in this conversation, Dana's insecurities take the front seat. They take the front seat, and she's just like, I just feel like I'm not comfortable around your friends. They all like, they don't like me. I don't like them. I don't like who you hang out with or whatever. And Katie's like, as opposed to your friends, girl, they're fucking judging. And so Dana's like, girl, I ain't even got that many friends. You talking about Ericka like she's the best person in the world. You don't like her? Katie's like, listen, girl, it's not that I don't like her, but like, bro, she's way too perfect and she goes around here trying to be perfect like her shit don't stink. And that's mad cringe. Like, that's crazy. I don't trust it. And I think you should be looking more into it instead of paying attention to what my friends are doing too. So Dana's just kind of like, okay, girl, whatever. But like I said, things have been happening in these last few episodes and it's been very serialized. And while you may look at a lot of the different events, especially when we're focusing on Ericka as a specific storyline, you don't really focus and pay attention to the characters that are around her. If you go back and watch the first 6 episodes, you can kind of see non-spoken things that's happening when Ericka thinks nobody is looking. And so even though she felt a little bit perturbed, a little bit offended by what Katie was saying about her, you kind of get the sense that Dana has been sensing that something else has been off with Ericka. Sure enough, she go home and what even made her check the drugs, I'm not sure, but Dana confronts her about it. Ericka done already popped 2 of these benzos earlier anyway, so she kinda like, "Listen, girl, yeah, okay, whatever. Listen, look, I went down to Mexico and I decided to do this retreat. It didn't work. I've been popping benzies like crazy, girl. Like, it is what it is. It ain't no big deal. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?" And she's like, "Girl, it ain't nothing." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing. And Dana's like, "Girl, it is not nothing. Like, what in the fuck is going on with you?" And finally, finally, the thing that I've been asking for, we've been watching this chip away at Ericka since the last 2 episodes in season 1, and she finally cracks in the safety of her home, in the repaired friendship with Dana, and she's like, "I have been struggling, I've been suffering, and I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just trying to go day to day, but every time I look around the corner, I just look and think that I was supposed to be one that was dead. I was what am I supposed to do?" And I actually wrote this down because she says, and it broke my heart. She says, "That was supposed to be me, and I'm supposed to be the one to figure it out." And so I love just the conversation around Ericka's drug abuse or misuse. I'll use that. Her medical drug misuse. I love the conversation around it because, again, just like I said about season 1, the show is called Brilliant Minds. It's about these brilliant doctors tackling neurological, defects or anomalies or whatever. But every doctor is also dealing with their own form of neurological event, whether it's psychological, emotional, that's, doing all these different things. And so the care and the non-judginess and the need to want to help and to want to understand first before wielding accusations in these type of environments is super important, because there's probably somebody out there watching right now going through the same thing Ericka is going through, and they're hiding needing help. And it's not that she's taking something that is like destructive, but she is taking something that she's not prescribed. And so she's misusing and borderline abusing a use of a FDA regulated drug because she refuses to voice the thing that's actually happening. So we have this breakdown and we're finally like shattering everything about her. And it was just such a beautiful moment of friendship between Dana and Ericka. Derica. I'm just listen. It's the nerd in me, it is what it is. But it was just like a beautiful moment, and this is the first step to Ericka eventually getting help. And so just seeing the friendship and the sisterhood and the community between the women within the show is just absolutely amazing. And watching them go from conflict to resolution with everybody is just showing you like the maturity of the mess, right? And I just kind of love how the show shows you that across all of the relationships, you can have disagreements and you can have falling outs, and it doesn't have to end in like bloodshed, and it doesn't have to be toxic. There's a way to handle these things, even if that means you part ways by the end of whatever is going on. Okay, that makes sense. Speaking of that, so getting back to the case. So, a lot of this episode, when you think about the title, The One That Got Away, we're thinking about nostalgia. We're thinking about the way our lives could have been. And we're looking at a lot of different events through rose colored glasses. And so, with Tom, as we find out that every time he hears the music, it's actually a seizure happening, the song that he's hearing is a song that takes him back to the summer that he spent with Oliver. And now it's kind of getting it's confused, and what does this mean? And why, even if I'm having a seizure, am I remembering this song? And even Oliver's getting a little bit caught up in the mess of it all. You got Dana being like, "So Tom, tell me about Oliver. How was he?" And he's like, Oliver's like, "Listen, it was just like a summer. It went that crazy." And Tom's like, "No, he was the most beautiful, the most intelligent. He was just incredible. He was just such an open book." And Dana's like, "Yeah, he's the same. Definitely an open book." And so everybody's kind of teasing him, and he's so self-conscious, but he's getting thrown back into that too, like the what ifs of it all. Even to the point where Carol is involved. Now, I've been begging for Carol to be all up in Oliver's business for the past 6 episodes, and this is the episode where we're finally getting messy bestie Carol. We're finally getting that, and it's about Tom. Don't get me wrong, Tom is very attractive, but babes, Jolliver here. Jolliver, we have an objective. We have an objective. But um Wolf is on her couch and he's like, "Oh my God, like I got this man and I got this man, and like I'm taller than one of them, and the other one is taller than me. And then he got like big hands, but then my hands are big on him. And then like he has a great chest and the other one has a great chest. And like I'm in love with blonde men and they're in love with me. Like, what do I do?" And Carol's like, "Babes, do all of them. You're single, you're ready to mingle. You are capable of being loved, but scratch the love, scratch that itch." You know what I'm saying? And so we really get this banter between them. And I just love it because their friendship in real life between Tamberla and Zachary really shines in these moments. And I just love it. Like to work with your best friend is just like something else. Do you just look forward to coming to work? You look forward to those 5 minutes, those 10 minutes of just gossiping or just teasing each other and just having those intimate moments that are only shared between both of y'all. So to see this on screen is just absolutely incredible. But it's like, okay, yes, finally, there's a lightness to these storylines, and Carol's doing what a friend needs to do. Wolf, jump back into the sea, babes. There are plenty of fish. There's plenty of fish. You got two sharks right here. Two sharks. Go on in and sing, babe. Go. Get nibbled a little bit. Get nibbled a little bit. So Nico's like, "Guys, and how about you tell Josh that, your ex is sitting in the room?" And Wolf is like, "Bruh, get on my face. I'm gonna go tell him that he needs to just look up this case. It's just an interesting case." So Wolf is like, "Hey, Josh, homie, friend, um, there's a musical hallucination going on downtown and it's some weird type of seizures. You want to get in on that?" And Josh is like, "Absolutely, bruh." And get me from behind his desk? Yes, yes. And then like at the last minute, Wolf is like, "I just want to let you know, like, that's my ex. And so yeah, it might be a little awkward." But we get into the room and Tom is coming out the bathroom topless. And Josh is like, uh, uh, uh. And so awkward introductions are made and all of the things. But Josh does something that I didn't see coming. He names the thing and he says, "Oh, I heard like you and Oliver are like exes, like y'all got a bit of a past." And Tom is like, "Oh, it was just a kiss." And Josh is like, "A kiss? A kiss and and Wolf is like, "Okay, yeah, mhm." So about this brain thing, like let's talk about this brain thing, right? And so it's just such this awkward moment between two 40-something-year-old men and everybody in this room. Again, going back to the one that got away, going back to that past, like everybody in this room is acting like teenage boys. And it is just so cute. It is so cute. Um, but Wolf is a little torn because he's like, "Damn, I'm stuck between like a hard place and a harder place." And, just when he's kind of like softening to the idea of like, okay, maybe the blast from the past is not something to be afraid of. Maybe there is purpose and meaning behind this. Guess who walks into that room? Tom's whole ass husband and two damn near grown ass kids. So they're like, yeah, I'm guessing this is not like nieces and nephews that you adopted type of situation. And Tom's like, "No, these my kids, that's my man." And so it's just like, oh my God, Oliver, this can't get even more embarrassing. But like, honestly, let's just talk about Zachary real quick as a performer. That awkwardness that he carried in this episode, that shyness, that bashfulness, like, but on the edge of like really tapping into his own personal prowess and his sexy, just that it was just all in this episode and it was just perfectly executed. It was just perfectly executed. He was embarrassed where he needed to be. He was forward where he needed to be. He was pensive where he needed to be. He was shy where he needed to be. Like the whole thing, just like watching him fumble in like the most beautiful way as Oliver was just absolutely incredible character work. And again, getting into like these light episodes, it allows you to kind of see some undercurrents and see other parts of personalities that we wouldn't have explored if we just stayed in the seriousness of the cases. So I'm just genuinely loving how season 2 feels. I cannot say that enough. Anyways, so um Tom and Wolf go take a walk on the beach where they used to walk all those many moons ago. And Wolf is like, listen, you don't really know me. And I know you're trying to like recapture a feeling that we had, but it's okay that we don't have that feeling anymore. And it was just what it was. Like, remember when I told you what happened to my daddy? Yeah, him and my mama lied to me because he had bipolar disorder. So when you go back to these moments, you're imagining one thing, but when I go back to these moments, I'm imagining something completely horrific and completely traumatic. But it doesn't make what happened any less magical for those moments. But it's okay to move forward. And you're deciding not to get this surgery because you like the feeling and the memories that the seizures are evoking in you. You can get the surgery and that part of yourself, there is a chance that it won't be lost. But you can also create those things moving forward and blend them all together. And it was really the perfect conversation, not only for Wolf to tell to Tom, but really to kind of close that chapter in his life as well, especially on the heels of the conversation of Carol being like, you are capable of being loved as you. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to do any of those other things. Like, it's okay. All of those things make you who you are. And it'll make you the perfect partner for somebody in the future that is meant for you. So he moves on with the surgery, and this like emboldens Wolf, right? He's empowered by his own words and by his friends' words and by everybody else gassing him up this whole episode. So he goes he goes to Josh and he's like, listen, I know things have been awkward and I know I'm the reason that everything is jacked up, but I really want to give us another try. And I just feel like I've been learning so much about myself. And 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 Josh is like, Oliver. And my heart sank because I'm just like, I know you're not. He's like, Oliver, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I'm so happy that you are getting to a place where you're ready to be open to receive love and receive affection. Um, but I'm seeing someone, and it was somebody that I was seeing, before we started. And it's uncomplicated. It's easy. It's simple. Like, you understand? And Wolf is like, no, like, I get it. I get it. I understand. You deserve uncomplicated and you deserve to be happy. Whole time I'm screaming, fuck your happiness, Josh. You deserve the worst. You deserve unhappiness. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know where he's from, but I'm going to find him and I'm going to end him and I'm going to end this sham of a relationship. Like, oh my God, we finally get Wolf vulnerable, open, honest, transparent, flayed open. And you tell him that you're seeing someone. And it wasn't enough that you were seeing someone, but you told him that it was uncomplicated and it was easy. Thus, him inferring and receiving it as him being difficult and being complicated. I am over it. Pissing me off. Y'all pissing me off, bro. Oh my God. Oh my God. So like, there's that. There's that. I've been begging. begging for this. And y'all shoved the knife in my breastbone and twisted it and then yanked it up my sternum and yoked it out of my trachea. Why? 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 Like, every time I gotta talk about this relationship, it just always ends on y'all hate me. Y'all personally hate Kimchi. The people of Brilliant Minds hate Kimchi. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, y'all. And we got 15 more episodes. You think I'm about to sit over here dealing with this bullshit from y'all? I'm tired, okay? I saw this Halloween costume. This couple dressed up as Sick and Tired, and they won a costume contest at the apartment complex. That's me. That's me right now. I'm both sick and I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? But beautiful, fun, chaotic, messy ass episode. This was the messiest episode of the entire season, and I love it. I love it so much. So we're gonna move on to the segment that we call B-roll, where we're gonna go over some strengths, we're gonna go over some weaknesses, we're gonna go over um I forgot all of my segments. I don't have my phone or nothing. Y'all, I've been moving. I done moved cross country. I've been unpacking. I've been like still pushing out content, trying to be consistent. Like, forgive me. My brain is fried. But yeah, we're gonna move into that segment. And we're gonna go over some strengths and we're gonna go over some weaknesses. And we're just gonna like talk about the episode in and of itself. Okay. Strengths. I feel like this episode really highlighted the fact that this season is serialized. There's so many different nuggets and there's so many different layers in this. Something that I didn't talk about in the As Seen on TV was Ericka and the Sam of it all and what that looks like. Like, we're really breaking down character. And we got into a lot of character in this episode, which made it really fun because it's very easy to get locked into like who like the person you think you know. And in this episode, you really have to like take a step back as an audience member and be like, wow, like I was judging that person. And as much as I know I can take a very objective view to a lot of these things. I'm human. I give recaps. I have my emotions. I have my feelings. I'm invested. I'm also very subjective in a lot of these things. And characters do be pissing me off. And most times if a character can make me feel emotional, it's genuinely because I love that character. I'm invested in that character. And so being invested in Ericka and her pissing me off so much, um, and then watching what I've been seeking so much start to click and start to make sense. Um, it's really beautiful, kind of like how they're setting this up. Another strength that I really like is we're finally getting a lot of different characters interacting with one another. Um, it's really fun here. We got Dr. Thorne in just a little bit of that lightness. Um, was he? Let me write. Let me see. I threw this notebook on here. Who was in this damn episode? Ooh, 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 doo, 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 doo. I don't know if he's in this episode. I think I'm making shit up. But yeah. But you really get to see like a lot of different interactions. We got Van with Dana at a kickball area with Katie, and we got these other characters who are people of her softball team and other paramedics and stuff. So like just the way that people are interacting. Nico is fitting in so well, and he's just such a fresh beat in this. I like that we're giving the characters days off because Charlie was not in this episode. And so you really are starting to see like some of the shift work and just the feel of what a hospital feels like within an emergency room and just kind of like the comings and goings of what's happening in that space. So it's starting to feel more real and the movement of it is starting to feel a lot more natural this season than it did in season 1 for me. Um I would say a weakness in this episode, it's not so much as a weakness, so much as I guess I just don't understand. I don't understand if Dana searched Ericka's stuff or searched her own pills to see what was going on, or if she was just having like a shitty day and decided to just go take her meds and realize she didn't have any. Unless I blinked, I didn't really understand that part. Um, the way that was executed for me, I didn't really get that part, like how we got there. Like going from the conversation with Katie being like, you need to check Ericka. And then immediately finding out about her drug use, that piece, I feel like if Dana, I feel like we could have got there if Ericka would have walked in the house and Dana would have just confronted her, like, hey, you've been off lately. Like, what's up? People have been noticing. Other people have been coming to me. Like, what's going on? And now we're having this conversation. Then maybe like you know, I was having a shitty day today and I had a terrible time at kickball with Katie. And I went to go take my own meds because I needed to calm myself down. And I saw that they were missing. You want to tell me something about that? I feel like we kind of had a reverse of that scenario and still got to the same point. And so that's really like the biggest thing for me that kind of like popped up in this. Um, as far as like something where I'm just like, we could have we could have did that one just like a little bit, a little bit better. But other than that, like super satisfied with the episode. I really like the writing on it. It, like I said, feels like a book to me. Um, the direction, cinematography, everything was pretty like standard, pretty stand still. Um, nothing necessarily super hyper emotional, other than uh Josh and Oliver in that moment. Ooh, um, this part as far as like I don't really know where to put it, so I'm gonna put it in this segment. Is I really like how Ericka is having these connections, these mini connections with so many people. My favorite, second favorite, because I really love Dana and Erica's scene. Like, regardless of I would have wanted that to be written a little bit different or received a little bit differently. I really loved that scene between those two. My second favorite scene in this, even though I'm messy, y'all know I love the Carol and Oliver of it all, was Oliver and Erica at the end of this episode. And they're both in this space of feeling like they are too much for the world and not enough for the people that they want in their lives in an intimate way. And not intimate as in like romantic, because even in Erica's case, it's probably just connection. You know what I mean? And so I love how seeing how much she idolizes Wolf is beyond idolizing him for his mind and beyond the obvious similarities of how much they go above and beyond for their patients. It's in their fears and their insecurities as well. And they're there at the end. She's feeling rejected. He's feeling rejected. They watch a movie together. And she tells him, I was adopted. I don't know anything about my mom except that my mom was schizophrenic. And so it's like, not only did we get a layer of the PTSD. But now we see why she's so invested in Sam. It's more than saving herself. It's saving and wanting to get to know the part of her bloodline that she'll never get to know because everybody gave up on the person who gave birth to her and who gave her life. And in that moment, Wolf is just there for her, not as a mentor, not as an attending, but as a friend, as a brother in a way. And it was the most beautiful piece in this entire episode. Absolutely gorgeous. Um, Perfectly executed. I just I loved it so much. But before I get super emotional on there, um, I want to go into behind the lens. Let's talk about some predictions. Let's talk about some speculations. So Charlie's off work. It's clearly his off day. He's up to no good. He's doing some very nefarious things. I'm just saying it. I don't know what they are, but I'm just assuming that he's up to no good. We don't trust him. We don't trust him. Um, I think that this this episode, I think that Josh's relationship with whomever this mysterious man is going to be a really good relationship on paper. I think that is going to be a very boring, passionless relationship. I don't think that he's going to be as stimulated because Josh gets stimulated by the push and pull and the back and forth between him and Wolf. And I think that he's conflating that dynamic being difficult with his fears because he likes it. People clock your chemistry, they clock all of those things. And you're flirting with him. But then you say, well, I want something left. Okay. Well, in the words of one Louis de Pointdulac, you're probably going to be with the most boring, beigest, softest pillow in the world. Okay. And you're not going to get any satisfaction. You're not. So, yeah. Good luck with that relationship, babes. Don't see it lasting at all. Um, what else do I predict? I predict that Katie is going to break up with Dana. I'm calling it. And we're just getting to the point where the insecurities are like in the way. And Katie's, there's only going to be so many apologies, and so many times that she concedes to Dana's insecurities before it's annoying. Like, Dana's going to have to do the work so that they can progress in their relationship. And I feel like Katie is dating her past. And that's not fair. And it's not to not acknowledge what Dana has been through, but you should be working through these things with a therapist. I should not be the first time that these feelings are unleashed and I'm taking the brunt of your emotions because they're coming out raw and you cannot control them. And I'm taking the beating. I'm taking the lashings. And there's only going to be so much patience when it comes to that. And if Dana does not go and get help, this relationship is over. Speaking of help, y'all, Ericka, Sam not coming back with that credit card. You're not getting that credit card back, girl. Listen, he can be hella grateful, ma'am. You are not getting that credit card back. Oh my God. I was like, are you serious? Are you serious, girl? The same Like, you're putting yourself in the same boundary crossing situation as Carol. Like, literally not the same situation, but the same outcome with the way that you are overstepping your bounds of professionalism between the doctor and the patient. You gave this man your credit card. Girl, are you crazy? What? Ain't no way. Say, girl, cancel them cards. Cancel them cards, girl. I see what you was doing, and I get it, and I understand. Cancel them cards, girl. Get off the benzos. Go get some clarity, baby, because this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't. Mm-mm. 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 Mm-mm, girl. Mm-mm. And that is gonna lead us into that's about to lead us into our hot reel segment. Our hot reel segment where we talk about different hot takes, whether you got a hot take, whether I got a hot take. And listen, I kind of already spilled some of this in this whole episode, but we finna get to it. Boom. Hot take number one. If Josh is not with Wolf, he doesn't deserve to be happy. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Okay. Um, Hot take number two. Listen, I don't even know if this is a hot take or like a desperate need, but I feel like we haven't seen Carol get the correct vindication for what happened in season one. She can't be this put together. They talk about Ericka can't be this put together. She can't be this put together. Like, I know she almost lost her job, but I need her to come to work one day after Wolf bailed her out of jail because she lost it on Morris, but Morris decided not to press charges. And so they came in to work late because of, the bestie had to bail the bestie out. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something else pent up in her. And I'm just tired of the woman, um, especially like the Black woman having to be the bigger person. No. Carol needs to slap the dog shit out of Morris, or we need to hear about it, even if we don't see it. We need to hear about it. I don't, mm-mm. Can she be taking like some Taekwondo classes or something with his picture on something that she's like punching in the face? Like, so I need something. I need something. I don't think we should be ignoring that. We need to get back to it. Some. Tamberla, what would you like for your character to have done? Tell me. Tell me, because it ain't enough. I'm mad for you still. I'm mad for you still. Um, yeah. And honestly, this is not even really a hot take, but I'll just say this. Um, as much as I want Oliver and Josh toxicity, and I do, they are so yearny and angsty and just puppy lovey and just it's so cute. I do love, especially with the depiction of a gay male relationship, I love the softness of it all. I love how tender they are with one another. I love the tenderness of the storyline. And I love that they're showing that you can maturely part ways even when it hurts without forcing it to be destructive. Wolf could have easily like raised hell in that office. And maybe if he was in his 20s and Josh was in his 20s, or even he was in his 20s and Josh was in his 40s, it was like, a age dynamic thing and a level of maturity. It could have been really messy. And would it have made for good TV? Yeah, sure. But at least for people my age, or just even the way society is, like, breakups don't have to be messy. And I think a lot of people, when they've been like, oh, I just went through a terrible divorce. Oh, I just went through a terrible breakup. Somebody is making it terrible on purpose. And they're doing it because they feel like it should be messy because the only way they're going to hate you and the only way the breakup is going to make sense is if they hate you. Or they're just repeating the same cycles of the type of breakups that they've seen in their lives before them. Right. Um, and I keep saying in my real life to friends, like, normalize breaking up even when there's nothing inherently wrong, even when the person is not a villain, even when they didn't fuck you. Oh, sometimes it's just not working. And while I love them together, and am going to continue threatening the writer of the TV show, um, I like that this is another way of it. And I like that male tenderness is being shown on TV. I feel like a lot of times when we see male relationships, the softness and the tenderness in those storylines are kind of like glazed over or bypassed. They don't really get the same attention that hetero relationships get. And when you think of shows like a Game of Thrones or some type of medieval thing, and you do see male on male, it's very violent and it's very brutal. But anytime you're looking at two men just being soft with one another and being tender with one another, all of a sudden it doesn't get the same respect and the same carefulness as you see every other relationship dynamic within the film and TV industry. So I love that this is what they're showing with the two male leads. And then when you integrate the way that they all problem solve together, it's just really beautiful. And even though they all are pretty mature, they're educated people, they want to be friends, they fight with love. You could just see the way they still fight across generations. Dana and Ericka fought much differently than when Carol was pissed at Wolf, when Josh was pissed at Wolf. You know, when Wolf is pissed at his mom, when he's pissed at his dad. Like you can still see generationally they all handle things a lot differently, but you don't see destruction and you don't see disaster. And I think that's very important for audiences to see. Um, because friendships are important. And when you when you want to maintain a friendship and you want to still be in people's lives, you gotta handle them like you want that. Even if it's a romantic breakup, you're like, "Oh, well, I want us to be friends afterwards." Well, don't treat me like shit when we're falling apart and then think in 6 months we could pretend that it never happened. So, I like that. Still wish the worst for Josh's relationship, but I like that as I, me, a 36-year-old, I like what I'm seeing when it comes to conflict resolution and when it comes to caring and arguing and facing conflict and having disagreements with people who claim that they love each other. You can actually see that they go into these things remembering that on when we come out of this, I want to still love you. I respect you even though I disagree with you. I love you even though I hate the decision that you made. And it's just really beautiful. So there's that, guys. Brilliant Minds. Season 2, episode 7, the one that got away. Sam got away. Josh got away. Tom got away. Girl, everybody got away, y'all. Y'all are messy. Y'all are messy. But listen, y'all know the drill. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Leave comments in the comments box below. If you got people that only want to listen to me, baby, share that Spotify and that Apple Podcast link. Okay? I'm good for a good commute. Okay? You feel me? You can also follow me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, where I share film and TV news and updates. And I also link my Substack where I do publications of different things that I don't talk about on this show. So if I ever do a publication, I'll also link that to my Instagram. You can always go into the link in the bio or see it in my stories, and you can just read about other TV shows and film that's coming out. And there's a lot of good TV coming up. Okay? Okay. You can also find me on TikTok where I do short form film and TV reviews on things that I don't talk about on the podcast, and that's at Kivanchi. You can also find me on Twitter at Kivanchi, where I'm talking about everything under the moon, and that's my main Twitter page. And then you can also find my podcast Twitter page at Pod. So there's that, where I'm beginning to share just more information about the podcast, sharing more information about upcoming projects and things like that. So if you're a Twitter person, you can find some stuff on there. I also post my articles and things on there as well. So your girl, we got moving parts. We all over the place. Okay. We're doing the things. We're doing the things. Okay. And with that, I'm gonna get out of here, nurse my wounds as I'm missing Jolliver. And as I'm plotting on Brilliant Minds writer's room, I'm plotting on you hoes. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next episode.